Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today is day 6 of 30 days of watercolor flowers, and today we have a fun flower called Agapanthus or Lily of the Nile. We're going to call it Lily of the Nile. I saw it both ways used very commonly, so we're going to get into it because I just think this flower is gorgeous. It's one of the very few blue flowers that I saw because I wanted a wide range of colors in our guide. And I love the texture, I love the simplicity of it. And so really it's just a bunch of these droplet type strokes in different sizes. And so these are the flowers that haven't blossomed yet. Most of the flower looks like this, and then some of the flowers have blossomed, and I'll show you what that looks like too. But they're really close together and they really are just that simple stroke. So this is the first flower that I'm showing you that has kind of opened. And so it has these really long kind of banana shaped petals. And there's a long stamen that comes out of the center that's really prominent that we want to show off. So these petals in the back are kind of just floating in air for a second because they're not really attached and they look awkward, but once we put the stamen in, it will look really good, I promise. So I'm going to paint another open blossom over here on the left, and when I was looking at the reference pictures, it looked like usually when there's closed blossoms and open flowers together, the open ones are at the bottom with the more closed premature ones at the top. And so that's what I've tried to do here, is keep all of the ones that are above closed and then create these two more open blossoms on the bottom. And again, these weird petals that are behind look awkward, but when we put the stamen in on those open flowers, they'll look really great. And now that I've got my main open flowers placed, I'm going to fill in the gaps with more of those closed blossoms. And with these closed flowers, I'm really using my brush to create the shape. So the tip is creating that pointed end. I'm putting slight pressure on the brush to create the rounded end, and then I'm coming off really quickly so that it's not creating a point at the other end with the tip of my brush. So now I'm creating the stem, and it's a really kind of thick, very smooth, strong stem that comes down. And usually this plant has a bunch of these flower bundles on a stem with multiple stems, and then at the base of those stems are these grassy leaves that come out. And so I didn't create any leaves for this particular flower because they're kind of only there when they're bunched together. So now I'm going in with a little bit of green to connect all of these little blossoms with some greenery to make them look like they're attached by stems. And they're not quite dry, which you know I like. I like a little bit of the bleeding. And I don't want there to be too much bleeding. You'll see in a second when one of them gets a little out of control. I use my brush to take some of that away, but I just want to add green so that we can see movement and it looks like there's attachment, that these blossoms aren't just floating out in space. So you can see that blossom in the middle just got too much green and it's too dark. And so I take a dry, clean brush and just gently go over it, and the water soaks right into the brush, taking away most of that color. So now to our open blossoms, we are going to add the stamen. And remember, those outer two petals are the only ones that are showing on the outside. Those ones that we have in the middle are in the back. And to keep them from looking like they're floating, we are putting the stamen right over the top of where that gap is, so that it really gives that illusion that the stamen is coming out the middle and you can see those petals in the back. So they're really, really long, and they have kind of a flat to angled line, tiny little line across the top. And I did between 3, 4, 5, anywhere around there will really make it look like this flower is opened up and there's these beautiful stamen coming out of the center. And now that I have the most important elements situated and looking how I want them, I just added a couple more blossoms to even out that empty space so it didn't look a little awkward. And now that we have practiced our Lily of the Nile, I am adding it to our watercolor flower chart, making sure to do some closed blossoms, but also a really nice open blossom as well. And overall, I'm just really happy we added this flower to the chart because I think it brings a lot to the table as far as dimension and color and texture and contrast, and it should be such a valuable flower to have in your tool belt. So thank you so much for being here for day 6, and I will see you tomorrow for day 7. If you have done any of these flowers, make sure to tag me on Instagram. I would love to see it. Have a great day, guys. Bye.